Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pencil Sharpener Factory. Today we're talking about disappointment, a feeling that I am way too familiar with. I think we've all had some sort of experience where we get all excited about something new, and when it finally releases and you check it out, it just sucks. Well, for me, there's one video game in particular that exemplifies that scenario perfectly. Let's start off by looking back to 2020. I am deeply sorry in advance. We were obviously all stuck inside, bored out of our minds, which led us to doing all kinds of weird things. And in my case, I was so bored that one day I decided to sit down and watch an Xbox game showcase. I have never owned an Xbox in my life, and it was during this showcase where I came across a trailer for a brand new game that I'd never heard of before called Balan Wonderworld. And as someone who primarily plays Nintendo games, I was pretty much sold immediately. It was a brand new 3D platformer published by Squareenix, plus with the music and all the colorful worlds. I mean, this game looked really promising to me. In fact, this looked so promising, I put the game on a list of games to watch out for, where I misspelled it twice. It was also the only game I put on the list. However, like most things I write in my notes app, I completely forgot about it and didn't seek anything about it until it released the following March. And boy, what a rude awakening. This game was not received well at all, and was already being pegged as one of the worst games of the year. And I was pretty disappointed seeing this. I was hoping the game's reception would improve later on with patches and updates, but nope. Then last year the game randomly appeared in my mind, and I figured, may as well see how much this is on Amazon, and I found a relatively new copy for $8. This game retailed for $60 at launch. So now that the dust has settled, let's take a look at how Balan Wonderworld went from a promising new title to the most disappointing video game in recent memory. Now, while it may seem like Balan is just another piece of shovelware that barely had any thought put into it, that couldn't be further from the truth. Supposedly. For starters, as mentioned before, this game was literally published by Squareenix. Yeah, that Squareenix. Known for games like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. It's fair to say that Square Enix are held in pretty high regard. And if you thought that was unbelievable, this game didn't just have nobodies behind development either. This was the first and so far only game released under Balan Company, a subsidiary of Square Enix run by Yujinaka. You know, the co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog. And not only that, the game was being produced by naotoohshima, one of the most prolific video game designers of all time. He directed We Play Motion, so I think that by itself adds credibility to his name. So yeah, pretty big names behind this game. Almost seems like it was too big to fail. Let's see how this game failed. The game would begin development in 2018, and eventually be revealed in mid-2020 with the same trailer mentioned earlier. And looking back at this trailer, it looks good. The worlds all look interesting, the gameplay looks fun, and the music. Oh, the music sounded excellent. And this isn't just me talking out of my ass either, because looking at the comments, a ton of people liked what they saw and were excited for this game. Square Enix also released a behind-the-scenes video showing the processes and concept art behind the game, and it was easy to tell that there was a ton of passion behind it. But as more details came out for the game, it was beginning to look worse and worse. In September, a Nintendo Direct mini partner showcase highlighted the game, and oh. To be fair, this was only the Switch build of the game, but does this look like a AAA game to you? And considering the Switch can output games like Tears of the Kingdom and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, this game still looked pretty bad. And in the following January, a demo was released for the game. This is a AAA game 2 months away from release. Sure, everything looks okay, but what is that running animation? Why do other characters disappear when you get close? Why is there virtually no dialogue? Why is the music so goddamn loud? Why does the level loading give me nausea? Why does this world look like a jumbled mess? Why does this look so boring? The end times are near. This demo was far from impressive, and when people played it for themselves, the outcry wasn't great. People were calling for the game to be delayed, with others flat out refusing to buy the game. And you may think, well, this is just a demo. It's not like it's the full game or anything. This game was releasing in 2 months. I'm no game developer, but what I can say is that while 2 months does seem like a decently long time, it is certainly not enough time to revamp a game from the ground up. And of course, the game would fully release on March 26th, and the rest is pretty much history. Fans and critics almost universally pan the game, with IGN giving it a 4 out of 10 and a 5.2 user rating on Metacritic. And while those scores don't seem terrible, here are the scores for Dragon Quest XI. Need I say more? There were plenty of outright negative reviews too, including this review from Metacritic user Jake999. This shit the definition of garbage! The most shit quality game I think I've ever seen in my life. Seriously, this is fucked up and lazy as hell. Even Sonic Forces is better than this. Sonic Forces, at least, had ambition and soul, but there's no fucking soul behind any of this game. It's soulless! I don't think you like the game. So yeah, that's pretty much everything from the reveal to the release of this game. It really is a shame to see a game with such promise come out in such a poor state, especially with all this negative feedback. But you know what? My outlook on this game has purely come from internet opinions. I'm not going to truly know the horrors of this game unless I play it myself. So why don't I put my $8 to use? Now that I'm about to play this show, I may as well explain some of the story in the game. Yeet. The game has you play as a child whose heart has lost balance, and you go to this theater where this guy named Balan transports you to Wonderworld. Ah yes, great to know the mascot of this game is a child kidnapper. You then travel through 12 worlds where you heal the soul of a certain character, in part healing yourself, yada yada yada. There's also this dude named Lance, who's the main bad guy. He spawns these things called Nagatis, which are the main enemies. There's also Tims, but yeah, they're not that important. That's pretty much the entire story told, but we'll get more into that later. For my own sake, I'm just going to be playing 2 levels of this game, just to get a general gist of everything. So without further ado, let's play some Balan Wonderworld. Yay. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so back in November, I actually streamed myself playing the first 2 levels of this game because I planned on playing the entire game and turning that into a video. I'm glad I didn't do that. So instead of playing the same 2 levels once again, I'm going to be playing the second chapter. The first chapter didn't really have anything important. It was just a tutorial level and another level that gave me motion sickness. All of the face buttons are jumps and the triggers. That's a great sign. Alright, let's get into level 2. The Dolphin and the Diver. Each chapter has a character behind it and you're essentially trying to save the soul of them. There we go, we got our first costume. So yeah, the main gimmick of this game is that there's a bunch of different costumes and they all have different powers, which is cute, I guess. And to complete a chapter, you have to get a bunch of these Balan statues. So we got our first one. Let's go. What is going on? Riveting gameplay here. Where the f am I supposed to go? Is it? Oh. Yeah, hide it over here. Great idea. They got armor now. Wow. Okay, you disappear too. This is such a boring game. I can't even go faster. I just have to watch and wait. It's a tree. I think that's the end of the level. Oh yeah, that totally is. Alright, now that that's complete, let's move on to, level 2 of this chapter. Didn't mean to go up here, but I'll take it. Oh, I just died. Okay, I'm literally stuck in a wall now. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Parkour. Parkour! Dynamic Dolphin. I want to mention, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know why I'm saving this person. What? This camera sucks. This game feels like a fever dream. That's what this feels like. What is this game? Oh, it's Balan. It literally stops you if you press it too late. What's this? Oh no, it's a boss battle. It's like a Mario boss where you have to hit it 3 times. Yep. Wow, I put the heart back. Oh yes, we get to learn the origin story of this character. So yeah, every single character in this game has some sort of fear. The boss we fight is the embodiment of that fear. What the f is that thing? Ah! Yeah, I defeated it. Yeah, no dialogue, just I'm happy again, yay. Oh yeah, I think every level ends with a dance party. What is this game? What a boring mess. That wasn't very good. If it wasn't already obvious, Balan Wonderworld is a confusingly underwhelming game. The gameplay is pretty piss poor, and while the costumes do add an interesting dynamic to the game, they don't do anything to save it. If anything, they get pretty annoying after a while. If you get hit and lose the costume, you'll have to track all the way back, find a damn key, get the costume, and then you can continue through the level. And speaking of which, the levels are really tiresome. I remember the first chapter being okay to navigate, but the levels I played felt more like busy work than anything engaging. Character designs, music, and even the cutscenes were all pretty good, but they all stand in pretty high contrast compared to everything else in this game. And that brings me to the biggest problem of this game, and that is, what the hell am I even doing? Like, yeah, the trailer said you go to the Balan Theater when your heart's not whole to heal yourself and all, but how does anything else in the game factor into that? And listen, I'm all for interpreting things in your own way, but there are clearly seeds of a full story here. But instead of giving you hints as to what this game is supposed to be, they just throw you into a world and basically tell you nothing. I just don't understand what the developers were trying to go for here. I mean, I want to understand what this game's story is, but there's basically nothing to go on. If only there was some official explanation as to what's really happening in this game. Good thing they published a book alongside the game. No, I am not kidding. Square Enix published an ebook alongside the game for the cost of $10, $2 more than what I paid for the game itself. And yes, this book explains the entire story of the game and fills pretty much every gap within the game. It also reminded me that Kindle is still a thing. We learn about each character's stories, how they turned into these monsters, and all about the different worlds they inhabit. The book certainly isn't perfect though, as it does get pretty repetitive in the 2 longer chapters. They're both essentially
Demon King, Secret Stone,
but 12 times over. But this book was still a fascinating read, and it gave me a little more appreciation for the game's story. So with my new knowledge from the book, did my opinion on the game itself improve? No. Balan Wonderworld is still a pretty damn boring game. Even knowing the story for every aspect of the game is still very underwhelming and quite frustrating at a lot of points. And keep in mind, I never wanted to hate this game. Hating this game doesn't bring me any joy. It gives me hemorrhoids. I've wanted to love this game since its reveal, but if a product is piss poor, I'm going to call it as it is. That being said, this game still isn't the worst game ever, like by any means. I've experienced WWE 2K18 on the Switch. Don't even ask. But even though it could be worse, Balan Wonderworld is not a satisfying experience in the slightest, and there's almost no circumstance in which I recommend it. The game clearly had a lot of interesting ideas behind it, but it fell far from its full potential, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was rushed out. To put things in comparison, there are a lot of things I don't like about Nintendo's business model, but you know what? They delay their games. They really delay their games. I'm not trying to insinuate that Square Enix purposely rushes out their games, but how the hell did anyone look at this game and think, yeah, that looks pretty good? I would love to see an overhaul of this game with more story elements and engaging gameplay, but that will probably never happen since Yujinaka left Square Enix about a month after the game came out. It's honestly a giant shame that everything turned out this way, but if anything, I'm just glad that I left this experience with a little bit of appreciation for the vision of this game. If you are familiar with the game, I do highly recommend reading the book, but if not, I wouldn't bother. It's not the most riveting story. Alright, now that I've experienced displeasure with the game I was anticipating, I'm going to go crawl back into my figurative hole and play Smash Bros for another 100 hours. But before that, I just want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Take care. Also, as a bonus for those who watch to the end, you all can have these Square Enix points. I don't know what they do, but they're yours.